His name was Felipe Garcia, and he was kind of like a second dad to me. He took me in. I come from a pretty crazy family, and he took me in when I was in sixth grade. He was my football coach, and he became my mentor. When I was in sixth grade, my principal told him not to, trust in me to play football or compete in any sport because I was in Alcala, just because of my name. He said that I wasn't gonna make grades, and so my mentor, the coach at the time for football, decided to prove him wrong and took me in, took care of me and guided and mentored me through junior high and high school. He pretty much, anytime I felt down, I would call him. Anytime I needed advice on anything, I would call him. Don't come from a very wealthy family or a family that has much resources, financial resources. So anytime I needed anything throughout high school financially, he would support me and help me out. On the weekends, when most kids tend to get in trouble, he would invite me to his house, barbecue. I'd do my homework there because I couldn't focus at home because there was just too much stuff going on at home that I didn't want to be around. So those are different ways he supported me. He would call me all the time when I was in college, and he still calls me now. I believe I am successful, but when do we reach success? It's I believe it's a process. What determines success too? That's subjective. Somebody's success could be power or being wealthy. For me, success is achieving one's own goals in life. So I feel like I've been successful because my goal was to become an All-American wrestler, and I did become that. That's why I went to college. And also, I measure success by having a healthy family. And so that I haven't achieved yet. Like, I don't have kids yet. So like I said, I think success is a process. You guys coming to school, doing your homework, setting goals, and achieving those goals. If you guys are never here, like, you guys have no power. If you guys aren't here, you guys aren't getting good grades, you guys won't achieve your goals, you guys will not be successful, you guys will not have power. So how I see power in you guys is by seeing your faces every day. Yes, with responsibility. I feel like I've been empowered with responsibility and taking care of you guys and watching over you guys. So that's actually a lot of power given to me, because if anything goes wrong or something happens, I'm empowered to take care of you guys and watch over you guys and pretty much be a father figure in the school setting for you guys. I think drugs, the ones that got involved in drugs didn't graduate. The ones that got involved in drugs didn't graduate. The ones that didn't get involved graduated. I'm looking at it. And my parents were awesome parents. My dad used to hate, anybody drinking in the house. He was a pretty strict guy. My mom's just the nicest lady you'll ever meet. I don't think it was a matter of them being incompetent to raise kids. I think it was a matter of society and what was around where we lived, stuff being so accessible, Because when I talk to people about this, they have this idea. It's like, oh, he probably only had one dad, he only had his mom, or his parents were horrible parents, and I don't think it was that at all. Just follow your dreams. It sounds kind of cliche, doesn't it? Yeah. But it's true. Just set goals for yourself. write them down, make them visual, put them somewhere you can see them every day. And I promise it'll make a difference. It helped me in sports too. I would hang stuff up in my mirror all the time. My goals and stuff.
Hi, my name is Alex Morales.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Roldan.
Hi, my name is Danielle Vargas. Hi, my name is Erica Luis Morales.
Hi, my name is Alan Olvera Dexter.
Hi, my name is Jorge Orozco.
Hi, my name is Ariana Ramirez.
I didn't know what I was going to do getting out of high school. I actually was going to play football for College Marin. I actually was in line getting my classes. I just talked to the coach, everything was set, and I was literally in line, probably 2 or 3 people from the administration's booth, and I walked away. And I don't know why I did that, that was weird. And I went home, and I just didn't feel that school was ready. I don't think I was ready for school. I think I needed, kind of reflecting on myself, I think I needed more discipline. And I signed up for the Army, just as a way to kind of get my life a little bit in order as far as, structure a little bit more. I think I was pretty structured to begin with, but that decision that I made, and it was a decision that I wanted to make, really helped me in the long run, because then I ended up going back to college after that. I never regret that decision. That was some of the best times that I had, as far as when I was younger, and when I was my 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. It was, I mean, shoot. We just missed the Gulf War when I was there. When I would think about that, I was like, man, if the ground war would have gone a little bit longer, I don't even know if I would have been here. I know my unit went over there for this past war, and a lot of guys didn't come back. So talk about, I don't know, getting lucky, or just wasn't your time. But that was, I could have been over there, but I knew that going in. It's when you join the service, you are joining to go to war. You have to have that mentality. Army, and I was a military police officer. My goal was, when I went in, I was going to come out and I was going to join a police department, which I did. I was in the Roanoke Park cadet program as soon as I got out. And then something changed again. I didn't like the military was fun, I liked it, but the military jargon, the military way of life was very similar to how police officers kind of communicate. And I didn't like that. And the other thing I didn't like, and I think it had to do with me growing up seeing it, is when most police officers show up to a call, you're not showing up to a call that's a happy call. You're showing up to a call that's someone's been a victim of something, and I didn't like to see that. I think it was probably because when I was younger, I liked helping, and I still like helping, but I didn't like seeing the negativity all the time. It was hard to see, because part of you wants to just, do some things that you can't do as a police officer. The people who hurt kids or hurt women or hurt people who are vulnerable, that bothers me a lot. So I don't know, I couldn't do it, so I had to move away from the police department. I don't know. I still remember the day that I saw her. Oh, well, I'll tell you a funny story. So I saw her, I worked with her, and then I went, wow, she's really cute. And I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I didn't really think anything of it. And like a month went by, and I asked her out, and we went and saw There's Something About Mary, and funny movie too. And we didn't say a single word at the movie theater. And I took her home. I think we said like 3 words. I dropped her off, and then that was it. And then I asked her out the next day, and she said, oh, my friend's coming in from town. So that was like, I'm washing my hair type moment, you know? So I know she didn't want a second date. So I went, oh, okay. So we never saw or talked to each other for a year. A whole year went by, and she asked me out. And when she asked me out, that was it. That was when I knew it was meant to be. And then I told her I loved her first before she told me. And then she didn't tell me she loved me. She said, I can't say it that right now. So I kept bugging her for a week until she said it. And then, my wife's Mexican, and her family is very strict. I mean, her father was not happy when we moved in together, but he was also understanding that it's a different time. Like her parents, he was a Marine, he was an old Marine. He asked his wife out, my wife's mom, out on one date. At the end of the date, he asked her to marry him. And she said yes after one date. And they've been together ever since. So, but I mean, very traditional, very old school. You know, I had to ask him for her hand. I mean, the whole, but, you know, I mean, it worked out the best though. But yeah, I knew she was the one for sure. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Rascon.
Hi, my name is Lucina Valdez.
Hi, my name is Natalie Ventura.
Hi, my name is Fernando Anaya.
That's something that I've struggled with for a really long time. I remember countless conversations with my dad about why do people hurt each other. I don't understand why people hurt each other. I don't understand why people are mean. I've never understood that. And so I've had to have a lot of conversations with my dad has helped me, and he told me how his mom, my grandma, when he asked her the same question, said that you have to think of life like a flower pot. And you have the beautiful flower, and it's lovely, and that's what everybody looks at. But underneath, in order to make that flower grow, is the dirt and all that goes into it. And thinking that the world could just be beautiful and wonderful is only seeing half of the picture, and that it takes all kinds, and it takes all kinds of experiences to create the entire beauty that the flower is. And so, while that doesn't help me 100%, it was a way for me to look at things so that I could sort of more easily understand that there's good and bad, and that we sort of need them all together. And for my students, I mean, I so genuinely find joy in all of you guys. And even if you're disappointing or you don't do your homework, like my first period today, I know that tomorrow's another day, and I'm excited by that new day. I love for women to have power. I think women are amazing, and I think what they can do is really amazing, and I want them to have power. I don't want them to have more power. I just want everybody to have equal power. And I think for a long time, women have had less power, and they've seen themselves as less than or less important in a lot of ways. But I think that women are strong, and the communities that they create and the way that they can be the backbone of a family but also have a career is wonderful, and I think it's our time. Imagination. I think that our world needs more imagination. I think that we need to imagine a better way to treat our world. And I think that we need to imagine a way to accept all people, and to realize that loving them and treating them as equals does not diminish from us. And I think we need students and people and teachers to be imaginative and creative in the way that they tackle problems and the way that they see the world. Because I think we get stuck in the belief that this is hard and this is where we're going and these are the problems, and we forget that we're really creative and that we've overcome a lot of problems in the past and that we have the ability to come together as a people and imagine a new future. And I think we're going to need that with global warming and with all the wars that we're fighting and with oil dependence. We're going to need to imagine some new solutions for all of the problems that we're facing. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like literature, because it's so imaginative, and why I like teaching, because I like to foster that sort of imagination. So, and I also, like what I was saying before, I think that our world needs people to be kind to each other. And that if we were all just a little bit kinder all the time, it could be so big. I'm really close to a couple of guys, and they're cynical, and they sort of see the world in like this sort of darkish way. And they're my really close friends. And I almost married one of them, but I didn't. And instead I married Brian, because his outlook is very, very, very similar to mine. And I think that being with Brian really helps me to maintain my positive outlook on life. But having those friends who look at things in a different way, I think it's been really important, because it's important to be able to understand and identify with people who see things in a different way. But if you're being negative just to be negative, I'm so over that. It's like, life is short, man. Live it up. So I can't get with the negativity thing too much. But I do want to try and understand like people who come from a different perspective, or people who are really struggling with someone. I'm not the kind of person who I'm just like, well, if you just think positive, then everything will go away. I think that that's sort of a cheap way of looking at the positive outlook. I think you can be really genuine and still feel grief and sorrow and struggling, but take time and pause and sort of realize like this life is really short and it's really special and what we do matters. So I'll say to you, like, can you just like be more positive? Please. Yes, I do. I feel like you have so much power. You're people. You are people. Being a student doesn't mean that you are less than, or being young doesn't mean that you are less powerful. You have less ability to make decisions about what happens in your day-to-day life, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the power to change everything around you. I think that you have the power to shape your experience and the people's around you experience, and to shape our community. There are students who are doing that. There are students who are making a difference in our community, and who I'm inspired by, and who inspire me to be more and to do more. Because when I come to work and I see all of the power and the potential and the things that you guys are thinking about and doing, I'm really moved to never be complacent. And I know that that sounds like really cheesy and false, but I mean it. And I've seen it too. So I think that you guys have a lot of power. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of you don't do more or feel like you have more power is because you don't realize how powerful you are. But yeah, I think you've got a lot of power. What do you want to do with it? That's the question.
Hi, I'm Anais Tinajero.
I'm Elizabeth Cuevas.
I'm Giovanni Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bayan.
I'm Romario Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Jackie Vasquez.
I'm Alondra Rojas.
hope to master the skill of being able to make art and art history and cultural history fun and interesting and engaging, so that when my students leave my class and go on to college and life, that they will have gained, they will remember their experience, and they'll, when they go to a museum or an art gallery, or they think about making art, they'll be like, oh, I remember Vetter in that class, and like, I think I can do this, or oh, I remember that thing about Picasso, I'm kind of interested, I think I'm going to go into that museum and check that out, because I kind of remember some of that. And just to have a little bit of passion to take time for finding meaning in life. If I can contribute a small amount of that in some students' lives, that would be a big win. That would be the most important thing. My parents have been really, really good parents in the sense that I think they've when I really wanted to do something, they've always supported me, even as I'm 44 now. And even now, you know, my parents are both still alive, fortunately, and they still do support what I do, and they encourage me, and that's really been important in my life. They've supported me, but they've never understood it. They look at my art, they look at my teaching, they look, and they don't get it at all. And no one in my family does.
Does that bother you that they don't understand?
I gave up letting it bother me a long time ago. I was just born into a family that didn't get art, and they don't go to live music, they don't go to art galleries, it's just not on the radar for them. And so that was very, very hard for me to grow up in that kind of context. I can't even tell you how difficult that was, because I thought I was like a freak. I thought I was an alien. I thought I was just defective, because I wasn't interested in the things my family was interested in, which was banking, business, starting your own business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think my family still thinks I'm a little bit crazy, a little bit out there. They really do. They just, they see the stuff in my gallery, they come up and visit, and they go into my art studio, and they're just like, why do you do this? Like, why do you spend so much time here? How do you make a lot of money? No, I don't make a lot of money. It just doesn't add up to them. It's so weird. And yeah, they're supportive, but it's a you know, you don't choose the family you're born into. It would be nice if you could. I would love to have been born to some artists and writers or something. That would have been really fun, but I wasn't. So kind of in my later life, I've done what I wished I could have done as a young person, in a sense. I've kind of started over almost. Well, I've been to 34 countries now, so I have encountered a lot of different cultures. And wow, different cultures are so different, and there's good things about every culture. You know, almost every place I've been on the planet is more friendly than the US. More accepting, more generous, more, not necessarily more open-minded, but more hospitable, much more hospitality. Arab culture in the Middle East is, I have been all over the world, especially in the Middle East and Africa. People just, you end up in everybody's living room, having tea, having food, having dinner, meeting all the family members. When I was in Lebanon and Syria and Egypt, people would just pull me into their house. Oh, have a seat. They start, all these other family members come to meet you and see, I've got an American in my house, and they all want to meet you. Things like that I don't think happen in the US. You don't just, we're very afraid in this culture. We're very afraid of foreigners. We were just talking about this in class, right? We're very afraid of people who are different from us. We're very threatened. We're like, well, what if that person like comes into my house and steals something or murders me? I mean, I don't know why we're so paranoid in our culture, but compared to, I think, a lot of the people I've met in the world, for this one reason, I think it's actually very simple. We are so stinking wealthy. The more you have, the more paranoid you are about losing it. That's what it all comes down to. We think we're so blessed in this country because we have so much material stuff, and it's more of a curse than it is a blessing. When I was in Africa, I was in some poor countries, Malawi, and Botswana and Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe. These are desperately poor countries, but most everyone's poor. You're living day to day, you're growing your own food, you have nothing. You have a house that's built out of sticks and mud with a thatched roof. You have a little gas stove, if that. You probably just cook on a fire thing. You just have nothing, and yet it's not just a stereotype of Africans. People are so joyous. They have a type of joy that Americans don't have. You know, we tend to be kind of depressed and introspective and like, why isn't my life what I thought it was going to be? Why isn't my life what the TV says it should be? Why isn't my life as great as the movie stars? And it's a whole different reality when you're in a really poor country. And I think some of you guys have seen that more than a lot of white people here because you guys have been to poor parts of Mexico, so you know what I'm talking about. It's a real ironic thing that all the things that we think are going to bring us happiness really don't. And I didn't really realize that till I traveled. And that's the big lesson I got from travel was the poorer you get, generally, the more generous you get, the more open you get, the more kind you get, and the less threatened you are by other people.
My name is Juliana Rodriguez.
My name is Brian Cerezo.
My name is Ellen Patino.
My name is Luis Gonzalez.